Welcome back, everybody, to the PokerUpdate.com weekly burn and turn for the week of October 11th, 2015. I'm Robbie Straczynski.
And I'm Shimmy Weiss.
And Shimmy, congratulations. What a great shave.
Thank you very much. A nice haircut.
Thank you. I have them put the gray in specially for that more dignified look.
They do a really good job of that. They managed to get it in all over the place.
Indeed. So let's entertain you with some poker. We got some great articles to talk about this week that were published at Poker Update. The first one is actually a pair of articles. It was a point-counterpoint about DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports. Should it or should it not matter to online poker players?
Let's go. It should.
It should not.
It should.
It should absolutely not.
Should.
Not.
Okay, you first. Go.
Okay. There's a reason the site is called PokerUpdate.com, not DailyFantasySportsUpdate.com. I don't have anything against Daily Fantasy Sports. It's obviously everywhere. The ads are everywhere. You see it on TV. You see it on the internet. Everyone's playing it. It's billion-dollar industries and scandals and this and that. But that's Daily Fantasy Sports. It's not poker. And you have all the poker media outlets reporting about it. Once in a while, I understand there might be a little connection, I don't know, but everyone's tweeting about it on Facebook.
Look.
It doesn't matter.
It's a pretty big connection. If it's going to have an effect on the poker industry, then that's something very important, then it's clearly connected. If we're talking about if the Daily Fantasy Sports, it's a billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
It's gambling essentially, and if we're looking to legalize online poker in the U.S.,
we are, of course.
This is a really good way to lead into it, and I know that they don't want it to be connected, but you know what? It's practically the same thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about online gambling, and if one is legal, there's no reason that we can't jump to the second one and push for that.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So perhaps it should matter a little, but it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter that much. It shouldn't be everything that everyone's talking about in the poker world. Again, go make a dedicated website for it. Talk about it, and everyone can talk about whatever they want. But I'm a poker purist. And I think a lot of people out there don't alienate the poker audience. So yes, we're talking now about Daily Fantasy Sports, but this is exactly the issue.
This is clearly being spoken by someone who's never participated in Daily Fantasy
Never
Sports.
played Daily Fantasy. I have no interest in playing Daily Fantasy.
I've played. I am terrible at it, but for some reason I still won.
Right. Kind of like at poker.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly. Well, look. We obviously have our differences, whether we agree, disagree, doesn't matter, but that's just, one point of contention. James Gwill, he wrote, the article that I'm, a proponent of, that it shouldn't matter. He had 5 great reasons, and David Huber wrote the counterpoint, 5 reasons why it should matter.
Worth checking out.
Decide for yourselves. Definitely worth
you
checking
know what?
out.
Comment. Let's see what you guys think. Let's put it up for a vote, okay? Put it in the comments.
Doesn't matter.
Are you for or against?
Yeah. And find us on Twitter at Poker Update, hashtag does matter DFS, or DFS does matter, hashtag DFS doesn't matter, and link to the articles and tweet it and share it, because we want you to come and visit our website.
Well done. That was very subtle.
Wow. Okay, I tried. Okay, but here's a good segue. We did produce a fun article there, and here's a shout out to Brad Chalupsky, one of our writers.
Bradley C.
Bradley C. So we shouldn't
That's
write
correct.
the entire name.
He's world renowned, Bradley C.
Yes, everyone knows Bradley C. from the commercials.
Because he's a big winner.
On FanDuel, I believe. He won $1.25 or something like that?
Yeah, $349.
That was Bradley C.
You guys can be Bradley C.
If you've seen Bradley C. on the commercials, this is an article you definitely want to read, that he's the real Bradley C. So, yes, if you're into DFS, that should be your thing. But again, doesn't matter. Not that much. We'll see. Okay, so on to our next topic. Excuse me. Jamie Staples, very, very popular. He's a friend of PokerStars, a sponsored friend, I guess, if you will. He's risen to fame, on Twitch. He has, just an ordinary guy who's playing online poker, and everyone knows Twitch is the live streaming service where he's going ahead and playing and commenting, and he's just getting all these followers, and everyone's interested in what he has to say. everyone knows Jamie Staples' name right now.
It's really nice of him to do an interview.
David
he
Huber,
seems like a really outstanding guy.
Yeah, David Huber sat down with him and asked him a whole bunch of questions.
I think what's amazing though is that he didn't start off as a high stakes player.
No, he's not your traditional pro with all the bracelets, that you always see on TV.
But people were still really interested in watching him play, interested in hearing and tuning into his channel.
And they still are. I think he's just really good at engaging the audience. He won't just go ahead and pretend he's just, talking and no one's listening. He is aware of all these followers and everyone's commenting and asking him questions. And, he always, he shouts out their names.
He's replying to them directly. He's giving them shout outs.
Speaking of shout outs.
Go for it.
There we go. Love it. Beautifully. Well set up for the spike. Shout out to Yishai and to Jonah, who were kind enough to RT us on Twitter. You can do it too. We'll have like little, if you want to hear your name on TV, shout out, that sort of thing. Just pay attention to our Twitter feed at Poker Update, and you may hear your name next.
Absolutely. Retweet us, and Robbie will give you a shout out. Up to we got to set a limit. What is it? The first 1,000 retweets.
What? Everyone's gonna get a shout out?
Go for it.
Next episode, I think will just be only shout outs.
That's.
What
I think Robbie could run through 1,000.
I don't know, but like the best shout out. If you make it really creative, like I know Jason Somerville, for example, he always asks his Legionnaires to be very creative, and they do a whole bunch of Photoshop stuff. So do something really cool, and maybe you'll be get shout out on the next Poker Update Weekly Burn and Turn. So yeah, no, definitely a really interesting interview. There was actually one question where I don't know if he was the right person to ask. There was a question that David asked about, what do you think of like the whole regulation in online poker? Obviously, it's an important thing, but it's not like Jamie's like a state legislator, like incredibly, ridiculously active on the legislation front,
Right, but it's still nice to hear his opinion on the matter.
Right. I mean, because yes, on the one hand, he's the ordinary guy. Like, what's the difference between what you and I say, or anyone else says about regulation? You want it, don't want it. But what's interesting, and I think why it was actually a very good question, excuse me, is because Jamie has this huge audience. And the fact is, this audience of people who may not necessarily be interested in poker. They may be like the gamer audience. They may not be aware that there's an online poker legislation issue. So the fact that he, is asking this question, it's great publicity.
It brings it out to the right people.
We need people to become active in this fight, to become, to make online poker regulated and licensed in the United States, as many states as possible. And, I think, Jamie had a very interesting, good answer. And, any poker pro, anyone with an influence in the poker world or outside the poker world that can talk about the regulation issue, a good thing.
Everyone who speaks up helps. It doesn't take away. It can only benefit moving forward with us.
I agree. The only thing that doesn't matter about that, daily fantasy sports does not matter.
We'll wait till we see the comments.
Right.
Go ahead.
You can also, excuse me, you can also comment, by the way, just reach us, press@pokerupdate.com, and of course, on Facebook, look for the Poker Update Facebook page. So we'll get to the last topic we're going to talk about here.
This is a fun one. This is a really fun one. The top, what was it? The nine distractions.
9 distractions you should avoid when playing online poker.
I really liked how, for some reason, significant other suddenly turned into your wife.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that happened.
It's actually, I think the statistics are like 10 to 20% of online poker players are women.
I gotta tell you,
I don't know.
When I'm playing online poker, and you had the other one, if nature calls while you're playing, it's one of the worst distractions you could have. I count myself lucky that my wife is a poker player, because I could turn to her and ask her to keep an eye on things while I run off, and she'll shout, "You got aces," and you better run back for that.
Right, exactly. I do remember lots of times when I was playing online, also that 5-minute break in between levels, so you run to the bathroom, run back.
You gotta time it perfectly.
But when you gotta go. One person who timed it actually in a very funny way, people don't remember or not, Daniel Negreanu, when he was, and yes, that's another Daniel Negreanu mention.
He was the real whiz kid, right?
He was the whiz kid. He put the P in poker. When he was actually playing online, he was doing a Twitch stream and stuff, and he had a real live stream.
Twitch stream.
Yes, yeah, he's a real live stream. He went to the bathroom. No, he didn't show anything, perverts. But he actually peed while he was looking at the camera. It was like, I remember it was very funny thing. So
it's important though. You want to avoid these distractions because you'll be in the middle of a hand, and if getting distracted, it could cost you in the long run. You might be sitting there with pocket aces and think that you're golden and not realize the other guy just flopped 2 pair.
Or girl.
And all of a sudden it's going to knock you out. Like the guy could be holding queen 7 and he flops 2 pairs. This is a personal story.
A personal story. Someone may have lost with aces to a queen 7, which happened.
Too soon.
Yeah, that was kind of rough. But one thing you don't want to be distracted by, for example, is dribbles.
Gerbils. Oh.
Gerbils. Gerbils. Don't be distracted by gerbils. That's what
Apparently.
in James's article about the 9 distractions, obviously talking about pets. If you have a dog or a cat, you don't want them cuddling
cats
up a
were
little
okay
too close.
because cats don't really care about you.
Oh.
They so long as they're fed, cats just wander around. It's
Right.
dogs that require attention.
Right.
And gerbils.
And gerbils.
Gerbils.
Yeah, but you don't want gerbils distracting you when you're playing online poker. Any other distractions that you should be avoiding when playing online poker?
Well, you gotta. I liked what he pointed out about kids, and that's really important because
sure.
I've fallen into that pitfall so many times where you begin a tournament, and you think, okay, they're watching
They're
a
asleep,
movie,
or
they're
not
doing
gonna
their
bother you.
homework, they're not gonna bother me, and then
Boy, oh
all
boy.
of a sudden, no. If your kids are awake, it's not gonna go well.
And if they're sleeping, they're gonna wake up when you're in the middle of a very important hand. It happens every time.
You're better off just waiting till they're married and out of the house before you sit down for that poker tournament.
Or getting a gerbil,
That's
which you don't want to be distracting you. So before we sign off, I just want to remind everybody our most memorable televised poker hand competition is still going on. We're now well into round 3. It's the countdown.
It's the final countdown.
It's not the final. It's the final countdown. It's not exactly the final countdown, but yes, the clock is definitely ticking. Be sure to get your votes in. Visit the pokerupdate.com. It's right on the homepage. You can see it there. Just click and cast your votes. Very interesting videos over there. I'm going to pick a favorite now. I think the one that's going to make it to the finals is Michael the Grinder Mizrahi versus Matt Jarvis. Right, that hand where it just keeps on flip-flopping. Who's in the lead? Who's not? Incredible hand. That's my personal favorite to win. That's my pick. But go ahead and make your picks.
I'm gonna have to vote for the royal flush over quad aces. That was just
Mabuchi, right? That was pretty incredible.
That was just absolutely
and he goes,
amazing.
wow, the guy with the wife beater and the red hair. It's just a memorable scene. So again, cast your votes. We're down to the Elite 8 in round 3, and remember, no gerbils.
No gerbils.
No gerbils. See you later. This is the weekly burn and turn from
I'm
PokerUpdate.com,
Shimmy
and I'm Robbie Struzinski. See you next week. No gerbils.
No gerbils.